we go.
Time.
Okay. So we have started Misty, thank you. We started the Solid Waste and Recycling Commission meeting of May 9th. Tim, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
All right, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic and the nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we want to get the volume up at all?
I wish you could. Can you hear everybody?
What?
How are we doing?
I guess. I want to.
Oh, it's got a good speaker.
Okay.
Nice to see you all.
You working overtime?
It's always works.
Okay. Is he leading?
You?
You.
Leading? You, are you leading the meeting from your position?
Call to order?
Well, you know what? I just hung up on him. I figured he was there.
No, he was on your phone.
Oh. So he's got to call.
Well, that's his recording. Yeah, but he should be.
He should be calling in.
He should be calling in.
Yeah.
So he can go through there.
Call him and tell him to call in.
Okay. Am I on?
There he is. I figured he was.
Okay.
Okay.
You go through the
Welcome everybody. Can we just go around the table and everybody just identify themselves? A couple of us are remote. Josephine is remote right now. I'm at work, so if I have to hang the phone up and go on a call, I just do it. And then I'm going to ask Andrew or Missy to take over the ballots, or Tim, whoever's comfortable now. If we could just go around the table and say hello to everybody.
Hi, Kirsten Nutella is here.
Tim Besler is here.
Nigel and Vital Express? Just the commissioners.
Oh,
just commissioners.
Nikki Meyer here.
Mike
Missy.
Pashowitz.
Joseph
Hi,
Pagno. Joseph's here. And John. Okay.
And is Joe, are you there?
I'm here. So we have
Yep. Okay. Good. And then Andrew says he'll try and get in, and I'm at the firehouse, and I may have to bail out, but we'll do the best we can. Okay. Great. And members of the public, do we have anybody there?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, public.
Nigel?
Yeah, Nigel and Vital Express.
Sorry, I can't hear.
Say that.
Nigel from Enviro is here, and
John from United Home Sanitation.
John.
Brad from
Okay.
Big Sanitation.
Brad from Big Little Sanitation.
And John Cattell from Public Works.
Okay. The first thing we have to do is the minutes from April 11th, and then I'd like to let the Enviro representative speak to us, so that we don't hold him up all night. Is John Cattell here?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, John. Okay.
Well,
hi, John.
Okay.
I'm sorry it's a disjointed meeting, but that's what happens when schedules conflict. Let's go down if somebody there wants to just go down the minutes of the April 11th meeting, everybody has a copy, right?
I've read them.
I've read them.
Okay, all the commissioners had a copy. Okay. Any comments or changes?
Yeah, under new business, under the, where it says Chair, Dolan discussed a complaint from the member of the public regarding an issue he had while dropping off fees.
Yep.
Dropping off fees? What, I don't really understand. Does that mean, is that where
He was questioning dropping off fees for dropping off. The fees. Yeah.
Oh, that was
Somebody
we told him to read this.
That was okay.
Yeah.
We settled that.
Commissioners, can we make sure just one person talks at a time, because I can't understand, and Josephine has to record everything. Okay, so what Misty, what did you want to say about that?
That's fine. No, they just told me, I was calling into the meeting. They just explained it to me.
Yeah,
so everything's
that's
fine. Everything is fine.
Okay, I make a motion to
Okay.
approve the meeting
Okay, can I hear a motion regarding the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of, April 11th. Second?
Is that Joe?
Joseph.
Okay, and the motion seconded. All those in favor?
Tim second.
Aye.
Aye.
Any objections? No objections? Okay, the motion passes. Okay, if we could go to I'm going to skip the subcommittee presentation if you guys don't mind, because I'd like to talk to the Enviro people.
Okay. Under old business?
Yeah, we'll go. Yeah, we asked them to be here, and they were kind enough to be able to come. So, Tim, can you do me a favor on this thing? One of you kind of lead a hello introduction and ask them some of the questions that we have with respect to the management of the Enviro operation now.
Okay, well, you sent the contract, so, I mean,
I can't hear.
you sent their contract, you have a detailed explanation for the way Enviro works. You had some questions too last.
Well, some of the questions that we had were with respect to why does it take so long for the trailers to get pulled out when the haulers who are trying to collect the refuse for the solid waste for the town have to sit up there and wait. That was one of the issues. There's some other issues besides that, but that was one of the issues. So if we could address that one, if we could talk about that.
Yeah, Nigel, just to be clear, at the last meeting, we understood, some of the haulers said that there were delays, there were a lot of people waiting around because there was only one person that could drive around, what do they call it, the work
yard
horse. The yard horse.
Right.
And when there were two tractors, why did one person have to only do it? And one of the things we heard was that perhaps only one qualified driver, but it was a problem because if two horses were able to be working, they could get in and out quicker, especially since one of the compactors was down. So if you could address what's going on right now with that.
So since, Chairman, since the two compactors are running now, we do not have a issue of a long wait, but I was in Fairfield today too, and at one point it took us close to about 30 minutes to change a trailer, and I would love to explain the reason why. Now, why it took 30 minutes is not because there is only one operator that can operate the yard horse, but there are two who can operate. Actually, all three can operate, but we have assigned only two to operate it because one is supposed to be on the floor. What happens is when there is some garbage remaining on the floor, we have to first make sure that when the trailer is pulled out, any garbage that falls off the trailer is cleaned. If we don't clean it, it goes right into the drain because the drain is still under construction or under plans for further construction. So rather than having the garbage fall onto inside the drain, which becomes a cleaning issue, we clean it right after every trailer is pulled out, clean it, and then put in. The first trailer, when I was there at 10:30, we pulled it out in 15 minutes. The second trailer took us about 30 minutes because we had extra garbage on the floor that we tried the haulers to dump rather than wait. Because normally when we pull a trailer out, we close the floor down. We don't let anybody dump because we need to also keep a calculation of how many tons are going into the trailer so that the trailers are not overweight. So we had some garbage on the floor, and as a result of that, we had to shut it down. And when we started pushing the garbage in, the trailer was a little too heavier, or it had too much garbage, so we had to pack it in. Even after we packed it and pulled the trailer out, there was a considerable amount of garbage that fell off the compactor. So our three guys shut the floor down, go downstairs, clean everything, and then comes back, and that took 30 minutes. But what I told our people to do today is, if the floor is completely clean, let two small packers or one big packer, or one medium-sized packer and a small packer dump on the floor, and then close the floor down. So at least rather than 4 or 5 guys waiting online until we change the trailer, there will be only 3 guys waiting online. So we're going to try that tomorrow to see whether the timing would be better. But there's a lot of cleaning that has to happen between trailers being pulled out, and that is one of the reasons why the time has been sometimes off. When only one compactor was running, it was a completely different story. There was a lot of cleaning between moving from garbage into recycle. That took close to about 45 minutes to an hour that people had to wait, because we cannot have the same flow move recycle until we completely clean the flow out of all the garbage before recycle can get dumped. If not, the recycle becomes contaminated. And then we have a different issue. So,
Can I ask you?
yes, sir.
Yeah, how do you pick up that extra garbage that's dumped? What is the process of doing that? What do you have to do?
So downstairs, we have to go with a machine.
Yeah.
And the machine has to scoop up whatever falls off the trailer.
Machine scoops it up
And then 2 other guys use hand shovels
So you have
and whatever. Right.
Those men, you have to.
All 3 guys have
All 3 have to be there. Yeah.
One pulls in the trailer, one preps. There's always a trailer already ready to be backed in when the full one is pulled out. That's always staged.
So somebody's observing that.
Downstairs, though, all 3 has to come, because one pulls it out,
Right.
2 jump in, they shovel up, and one of them come with the machine, fills up the machine with the garbage that fell, so that the other one
How
can
often
pull
does
it.
that happen?
Every single time that you move a trailer previously. Now, it's not the case.
Okay, all right.
Now, with both compactors running,
Okay.
it's very much smoother, but still, it has to be cleaned every single time a trailer gets pulled out, because we don't have drain guards, and when, John is working on that, when we have those drain guards all inserted.
When do you think you'll have those in? Packed in? Within 2 months? Couple months?
Well, yeah, we're trying one thing as a cover for it to see how that goes.
Okay.
Should be about a month.
All right.
Hey, Mr. Enviro, can I ask a question? Why
Yes,
is it that when the trailers are being pulled out, why does garbage wind up on the floor? Why does trash wind up on the floor? Is it doesn't the compactor push it all the way in?
It does, but after the compactor pushes it all in, there is only so much that the stroke can really push the garbage in. When you pull the stroke back out, even though it has pressurized the garbage into the trailer, there is going to be a certain amount that comes off. The only thing to avoid that is to have the trailers more lighter, and that is going to call for double or triple the amount of trailers there now, because we can't haul 20 to 22 tons. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen at every single trailer today. That happened only with 2 trailers, because we had people dumped on the ground because we did not want to hold the haulers. If we clean the floor up every single time and stop the haulers when the trailer is really full, most of the time there is going to be a very quick cleanup. We go in there, in 15 minutes the trailer is back in and the compactor is ready to roll. If we allow haulers to dump on the ground because we don't want them to wait, and then we're trying to push garbage in and then trying to keep a calculation of how much is going in, that is when the mess up happens. I saw that firsthand today. So I told the guys to talk to Lisa, who's very cooperative at the scale house, giving us all the needed information. But we have to quickly do these calculations to make sure that the number that's going into the trailer is correct.
Okay. Can I ask you the operators upstairs?
Yes.
Can they still allow the haulers to dump onto the ground without putting it into the compactor while that 30-minute period is being affected, or no?
They can, sir. They can, but the problem happens then is we will have 2 or 3 trailers worth of stuff on the ground, a truck's worth of stuff on the ground, which is going to be very difficult to find out exactly what the tonnage is. Now, we can find out from the scale house. They will say, okay, it's 8 tons, 9 tons, and 10 tons, for example. But when we start pushing this stuff in and we get more loads in, most of the time what happens is the calculation goes off. And the next loads that come in makes the trailer go overweight, and now extra garbage falls off when it gets pulled out. Now the cleaning process gets longer. So
wait, the tonnage you're talking about, are you talking about the tonnage that's coming off the hauler's truck?
Correct, yeah.
Okay,
Tonnage-
but aren't they weighed at, they have a weight ticket, right? They're weighed over at the weigh scale, right?
Correct, they do.
So can't they tell the operator how much tonnage they have on, or no?
So, yes, they do. So our operators communicate with those at the scale
Okay.
house. So let me give you the scenario. Let's say the trailer has already 10 tons. And now, let's say the trailer has 18 tons. So we need 2 more tons back to make it 20 before we pull it out. Now, we have 2 haulers dump on the ground because they have been there for 30 minutes. These haulers will drop off about 8 and 9 tons. How do we know exactly how many 2 tons to push in? It's a bit of a difficult situation, but we try to do the best we can. If we overload it, then trash is going to come off when we pull the trailer off the compactor. So the best scenario is keep a count, get everything loaded. When the compactor is full, don't let anybody else dump on the ground. Quickly, in 15 minutes, move the trailer out, get the next one in, then start loading back in. We did that with a few trailers today. It worked out. If you could give us another few days to see how well it would work with now the new this main compactor working as well, we can try that. Also, sir, one more thing that I need you to remember, not only will the haulers dump on the ground, but there are residents who throw over the wall as well.
Right.
That also becomes a significant amount of trash, which nobody knows what the tonnage is.
That's going all the time, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Now, I want to ask a question, maybe this is naive, maybe John, you can answer it, but could the horses, the bucket loaders have a weighing? Because some of them can weigh in the bucket.
Yeah, our loaders don't have.
You're not really scooping up and putting.
You're not scooping up enough.
You're pushing.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not scooping. I know, because I've seen it, sometimes they do.
Yeah, we have,
Gentlemen, one person at a time, please.
John's talking.
I have scales on a loader for when I'm like filling trucks with salt. Because you're lifting it up, you
Yeah, I know.
weigh it, and then you dump it.
Yeah, but those, it's
In
not
this
that.
operation, you're more or less scooping, pushing it into the hopper.
Right.
So you're not really, it's not gonna.
Right, okay.
Well, the first good news I think we all heard is that both compactors are operating now. Did that happen fairly recently?
Yes, about a week ago.
A week ago.
Yeah, I sent you the email the other day that John had sent us. Did everybody get a copy of the email?
Yep,
Mm.
yeah, thanks for sending.
Okay.
Okay.
John, does that sound reasonable? The explanation that we just walked through?
Yeah, I mean, when you fill a trailer up, it takes a few people to clean up after it. When you pull the trailer out, garbage is gonna fall on the ground. So, the one individual was complaining last month saying, he's pulling the trailer out, he's going to get weighed, then coming back, and that's not the case. They, as Nigel said, they set up a trailer that's gonna go in there, they pull the trailer out, they clean it up, as they pull it out maybe about 10 feet, they scoop up by shovels and rakes and the payloader, if it's a lot, they throw it in the back of the truck, they have to move that trailer out of the way, and, you don't have a big football field to operate down there, so you gotta remember, you got one trailer on one side, that's the other factor, and you only have a certain amount of area to maneuver, but you gotta pull it out of the way, so it's sufficiently out of the way so that you can then line up the other trailer to back it in right where you pulled that one out. Takes a little time to do that, takes a little time to clean up after everything falls down.
Well, John, I know you're new here, relatively new, and all of us are. But has this been the way it's consistently been? Has there always been like a 20-minute or 30-minute delay, or has it been like a 2-hour delay sometimes, where some of the haulers all get stuck?
I think it was a little over-exaggerated the last time.
Okay, all right. Okay, I understand. Any other commissioners have a question with respect to this particular?
Yeah. No, you're not waiting 2 hours.
No, 2 hours, no, but I mean, we're waiting close to an hour, these guys are at the end of their day,
you know, and then they're waiting an hour to go home.
Well, that's if one compactor is out.
Oh, no, I understood that, when the compactor was out, we understood that, but just, you know, sometimes you just,
Right.
it seems like, you just did things.
Is there-
It works a little different.
Mr. Enviro, is there an issue with respect to when, guys have to, and I'm not against this, obviously, okay, so I'm not challenging, but is there an issue with respect to guys, when guys have to go on a break, or they have to go on lunch, that there's nobody there to do this process? Could there be issues then?
No, the guys go on break only when the place is slow. So
Okay.
the guys do not go on break. So we normally between 10 to around 11:30, 12, very busy. Then
Yep.
it tapers down again around 1:30 to about 3 o'clock. It gets busy again because everybody's trying to come in, recycle is trying to come in before 3 o'clock close time. So our guys know that very well. The guys who work there, they work 5.5 days there, Monday to Saturday. Yep. So they know the whole spill of what happens. And they take their breaks when we are not busy, and one person at a time.
Okay, good, thank you.
You got rid of the
Any other commissioners have a question?
There's a new guy there. The other
What?
guy-
Go ahead, Hugh. Yeah.
Are there any other commissioners have a question?
No, it's
Are there any
just
questions? Go ahead, Ms. Fee.
Worry about it going down the drain. So.
I can't hear you.
It's gonna be better.
Right. What would happen is, the cleaning process will be a little much better and sooner, because now even if there is some garbage left there, if it's a little bit, you will not even need to shovel it out, because there is no place for it to go, because it has grates. So we can only do it like every other trailer, rather than doing the cleaning every trailer.
So these drain guards, is this really a grate, you just have a big hole now, or so you're gonna have a grate?
There's a trench right now.
A trench, okay.
That has grate on it, holes in
Yeah.
it for the water and slime and everything to fall through and prevent your garbage from getting into it and stopping it up.
Gotcha.
So we're working with, some ideas to put a bigger cover on it that makes it easier to clean up the top off without having to move things around and stick up stuff.
Okay. Well,
When it rains heavily, it's not, that's what affects it.
This grate that is a big concern is the one just inside the building.
Okay.
They need to grate down there because there's a lot of water, a lot of rainwater and liquid.
Right.
That's what the grate's for. So the objective is to clean all the garbage out so it doesn't go down in the grate, and also so it doesn't get up into the bottom of the truck, right?
That's correct.
Nigel?
Yeah.
Are there any members of the haulers here that have a question?
yep. You guys have any questions?
Everything's working right, smooth?
The holes are both working.
Good.
Much better than
That's good.
Okay, good. Okay, all right. What are Mr. Enviro, any other comment that you'd like to give us, that you'd like to share with us? A lot of us are new on the commission. We're not in the solid waste business, and so we're learning the trade and or whatever it is. And it's an interesting journey, let me tell you. But you have some dedicated commissioners here that doing a lot of work on a lot of different aspects of solid waste. Do you have any other insights things that you'd like to share with us with respect to the operation of the recycling center?
Well, sir, what I could say is, things are looking up in Fairfield for the simple reason, you have put in place some individuals who really care about the town and who wants to do something. Enviro has written emails to the previous regime and mentioned to them about all the needs that needs to be cared for, which fell on deaf ears. But it's been a pleasure talking with John. John is always on trying to work things out. Ryan has been always trying to look to get things moving the right way. So I think within the next few months, things will be much even better for the operation side. And if Enviro can do anything and whatever they have mentioned that we need to do in order to improve or whatever, we have always worked towards obliging their requests. So with these gentlemen fixing up the drains and things of that nature, things would work out good. There were some pavings that had been broken down by our guys not plowing properly. I have already approved a quote for G-Pick Construction that would be in Fairfield. They'll be fixing all the broken curbs at the Fairfield transfer station at Enviro's expense. They will also do some tar work or asphalt work downstairs at Enviro's expense. Anything that we had damaged, we will be fixing it before the summer. I think that should happen within the next few weeks.
Thank you.
I have a question.
What do you actually do at Enviro? What is your position there?
Okay.
I'm the general manager at Enviro.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Well, my follow-up question to that, if you don't mind me asking, if you don't mind us asking, is with your familiarity with the compactors, what advice do you have? We've had, as you probably know, nothing but trouble with our compactors for the last 3 years. What advice would you give us with this particular company's compactors and the management and maintenance of them, so that we can eliminate the downtime?
Right. So 2 years ago, the compactors prior to this were the wrong compactors.
Guys, I have to go.
Yeah, we know that.
They were small.
That's small. The compactors that you have now is the right size, but I think the compactor company has to step up and do their part in properly servicing it and making sure that they give the proper training and so on with regards to the compactors. I do not know too much about this particular brand because it's not a very popular brand as yet.
Canadian.
Yeah, it's a Canadian. I heard that another company in Massachusetts uses it. Other than that, I have not heard about that compactor. Most compactors that we know that have been used is the Marathon compactors that, like you.
I think he left.
He's gone, yeah.
But you can still talk.
Yeah,
Oh, Nigel, how long have you been with Enviro?
With Enviro, about 5 years now.
So
I used to be at City College before.
the previous regime that you were referring to.
Yes.
Can you date that for me? Because I've been here like 6, 7 years.
Yes, so that would
avoid those problems. I know we had problems.
Right, that would be.
Right, you don't have to mention names.
When we started to sign the contract.
Okay, all right.
When the new contract went into effect.
That was a problem.
Right, I gave the purchasing department.
Right.
The then, director and also the assistant director that was there, a pen drive.
Right.
With all the problems at Fairfield that needs to be fixed. And we were still told, don't worry, I have an email too from them, we're gonna get it all fixed. They said, we can't work under these conditions.
Right, I know, I remember that, so they put it on the back burner for.
Never, and it was always Enviro's.
It's a lot better now, so.
Oh, yes,
Good.
at least we can talk, we can get things going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we're gonna talk about the whole compactor thing, because it's not like that problem's gonna go away, like there's potential for this to continue to be an issue, so.
Well, just let me add, and by the way, Hugh's with the fire department, and that's why he had to leave. He apparently had a call, so.
Yeah.
Just so you understand. He normally is sitting right.
Yeah, he was on duty, he's on duty.
I was gonna ask, well, you know, we know, and again, I'm fairly new here too, and I know these compactors have had problems. I happen to be an equipment manufacturer's rep for wastewater, not this. But you mentioned that these are the right size compactors, in terms of, you know, and I know some of the issues have been with controls. I mean, at this point, do you anticipate it's gonna be a continuing problem, or do you think we're over the hump here?
We'll have to run it, sir, and see.
Yeah.
For a month or so, when you do close to about 2,200 to 2,500 tons a month.
Okay.
Of garbage.
Yeah.
So when we really push those compactors and when we start really working, we will see how it will hold up. But I think the manufacturer still needs to pick up his responsibility in making sure that those.
You had mentioned that you were familiar with only one other place with these. Have you heard anything of similar problems with equipment failures or lack of service or?
No, so we also manage the town of Westport transfer station, and they have the Marathon compactor. That was the compactor that was spec'd, I think, first when Fairfield, Westport, Trumbull, and all these towns had their own compactor. That was a spec compactor. So the newest version of it, Westport bought it, and that compactor runs. We have no issues of any kind of at all. Now, Westport generates only 1,500 tons a month.
Really?
Yeah, it's small.
Yeah,
It's smaller.
20,000 compared to 60 for us.
It's a very comparable building, correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct, yeah.
Two chutes, two compactors, very similar size.
Huh.
So we are automatically not overworking, but working our compactors much harder.
Yeah. And then you said, though, you were aware of a town in Massachusetts who had these Canadian compactors. Have you heard anything about their experience with them?
Initially, when when these compactors were first introduced, I had my own thoughts about it that I mentioned, because if the product is not that known, you got to be careful before you start purchasing it. So that was my thought, because when I did some research, I didn't find all good green lights and red flags. You know, there were more red flags than anything else on the compactors, but you know, I could not say anything more than that, because that's right.
Okay.
We begged them not to buy those compactors.
What's that?
We begged them not to go.
No, let me guess, they were cheap, they were low price?
Yeah,
No,
we
that's
begged
a lot.
them. Westport
Yeah,
said,
but
we're
they
gonna
were
go
small,
this way, we're gonna go with the marathon.
Yeah.
And everybody went the same way, they have spare parts in case it broke, we can borrow their spare parts. And Mike decided to go.
Well, no, yeah, we had many discussions about this.
Yeah.
We based it as manufacturing, we based it.
We told everybody, this is exactly what was gonna happen, what happens when it breaks.
Right.
So-
My boss sent a email to previous
Yes.
gentlemen, letting them know, please don't purchase this. You don't know what you're buying, and we can't service you because we don't know, like our normal service guys are all marathon service guys. You bring them into this, they don't.
Where in Canada are they? Does anyone know?
Yeah, we had that information sometime. Montreal or.
So we know it's a problem. So all I'm trying to say is, you know, is there some pressure being put on these compactor guys to be more responsive and to be more, you know, helpful? Okay.
Well, yeah, that's part of the contract. Let's go, who's running the meeting? We gotta go, because he's not here. So we gotta go.
You're the.
Okay, see you next. So we're at,
Okay,
old
so,
business is finished?
building communication, you and
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Okay, so,
Builds and communication.
I'm just curious, you also took into the meeting, did you have?
I just haven't been to one.
Well, that's open.
Yeah,
That's the
he's
public.
had it, so I
Okay,
thought it was time.
You wanna go to,
one of the things that we have to talk about, and it's been put on the back burner for years, is the solid waste and recycling department plan. Because as we know, we were handed a plan, it wasn't a plan, it was just a list of responsibilities that everybody had, you know, that was listed, who was doing what, but it wasn't a plan. So, it's a pretty big job. Joan, do you have anything in writing that you, can share with us?
See, that's the thing, and I'm looking for what you're calling a plan, and, you know,
It doesn't look like a plan.
I don't know what you're referring to, so.
are you referring to the charter commission?
No, it was the thing that Zabruski gave us, and
Oh,
it had a list of
Oh, that
who was
thing,
gonna
yeah.
do what.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was like a 2-page.
I think Hugh we might have to wait for Hugh for you.
Yeah, I mean, I was asked to bring a plan to this thing, and I mentioned to Hugh, I said, you know, I'm not sure what type of, you know, plan development you're looking for. There is a needs assessment that was done that they were calling a plan, which was, we had, an engineering firm go through it and say, look, these are all the problems with it. 2 year, but if that's not, you know, I didn't go start printing out booklets or sending that out until I understand exactly what you're calling the plan that you're looking for.
This is a big deal, the plan. And so I would suggest, in this case, I think having a subcommittee that would, you know, communicate with John and take a look at, you know, trying to siphon out where we are at this point and where we have to move forward. Because
Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm confused, so when, you had said there was something about a 2-page plan that talked about who was going to do what?
When we asked for the plan,
Yeah,
and we were handed a sheet, and all the sheet said was, this is what somebody's gonna, it wasn't like they were planning for the future, it was like, this is the role of Enviro, this is the role
The
of.
responsibilities.
oh, okay. What we're saying is that we actually need to develop a plan.
Yeah, it's part of our responsibility
Okay,
to
yes.
develop a plan.
Okay, so there is no plan.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so that is something that,
But that goes into the charter revision too, that's
Yeah,
part of that
that's-
too, so, that's complicated, and
Yeah,
I don't think we're gonna settle that.
no, but I think,
But to start, yeah.
to start,
Yeah.
I think the easiest way to start would be to have, a subcommittee looking at, how to even approach that issue.
Well, yeah, I think we have to define what we mean by a plan, and
Yeah,
what the plan is,
well, what we
and the
have,
timeframe
right.
for the plan, and operationally and staffing wise.
I mean,
What
the
does it mean?
department is running the transfer station, you're managing it. Everything's working right now, but what you're saying is we need to look at that, and do we wanna is it the idea that we wanna make changes to this, or?
No, there's limitations to what we can do, we're an oversight.
Oh, I know, I know, that's what you
In terms of-
suggested.
Yeah, I mean, we can bring it up for discussion, but, right now, I think it's precocious to say that we're gonna set up a subcommittee to revise the plan or the charter.
No, not at all. I'm not saying that you're gonna revise anything, because there is nothing.
Yeah, I think we
No,
have-
but there had to be something to establish the commission, I mean,
Well,
But is it the what establishes the commission, or is it what is actually addressing the that's why I'm confused, because when I hear the
Yeah,
word
right.
solid waste and recycling department plan, I think somebody has written something down and given it to John, so that he says,
Yeah.
oh, when this happens, I do this. Or when we have to plan for that, this is how we plan it.
Well, your job responsibility, based on, you have
I'm
it,
running,
yeah.
I run the
Yeah,
transfer.
Right,
Yeah.
so that's the.
Now, we have, we have which they were calling here, and I didn't know if they were theirs, and if you have that, you can send it to me. We have a facilities plan condition assessment that some people have been calling transfer station facilities plan development,
Yeah.
but that's how, how to upgrade it. We have a spill prevention plan.
Yeah,
Right.
you need that.
But that's an operational thing.
Right.
We have our contracts, so between Enviro and Wheelabrator and Oak Ridge, and the other agreements of where all these things go.
Mhm.
We have a yearly report that goes to DEEP that says, okay, this is where, what we took in, this is where it went out. Those are all just operational issues, just
Yeah.
to have,
Yeah.
in-house little things of, okay, this is how we operate at the transfer, in the scale house, so that you know how to
Right.
plug it into the scale.
Yeah, so you have a plan and you have a schedule of, responsibilities to do, or jobs to do at a specific time, yeah.
When you say,
Is that what we wanna know? I'm not
You
sure.
tell me what you want,
I'm not sure what you want.
and I'll tell you. We'll find out if I don't have it off the top of my head.
when you say facilities plan, that's something I'm familiar with on the wastewater side. It typically, it's something an engineer does, looks at an operation, in your case, the transfer station.
Mhm.
In my business, the treatment plant, they go in and they see what today is like, and they look ahead X number of years and say, okay, this is where we need improvements. And then that, in turn, leads to a design, which means, okay, you need a third compactor, or you need whatever, but has the facilities plan been done?
We, in 2020,
Okay,
Purcell did an assessment, needs assessment of the facility.
Purcell?
Silver,
Petrocelli, right.
Purcell, oh, okay.
Silver Petrocelli, in September 28, 2020.
Remember that.
Okay.
Did a needs assessment, condition assessment.
Hello, I'm back.
Oh, Hugh's back.
So that condition assessment report went through and said, these are all the problems you got going on. These are code violations, these are other things that have to be done. The town ended up bonding, or, I guess it was a bond, $250,000. That went into the immediate items. The upgrade of the electrical system, the bathrooms, the lighting, and the roof. Those things were all done. The roof, as I reported to Hugh last week, finished up last week.
Right.
Mhm.
I am in the process of, now, I'll take a step back, in the development of the budget, yearly budget for the transfer station, for solid waste. I had put in $90,000 for some immediate concerns that I had to address, with the anticipation that I would do this for several years to upgrade the items. Board of Finance, shut down the $90,000, but said, why don't you go and see what else we need there and go to bonding. I currently have a bond request going through. It's 2/3 of the way through. It's been passed up by the Board of Selectmen. It's been passed by the Board of Finance. So it'll have to go through RTM for $450,000. That's to address. I have a stairwell that's rotted out. That's one of the first concerns. To address the drains. We have other items in there for the doors. We have 7 doors of different sizes. When I say doors, these are overhead doors that you pull in the truck here. If you go by this transfer station, it's as open as can be. You can see in it. That needs to be closed up every night. I can't close it up. You know, I can't have Nigel doing it because they're not working. So we're looking at replacing the overhead doors. Also, there are the passageway doors. There's about 4 passageway doors into the building. Now, once you have a building that's all closed up, there are exhaust systems and monitoring for carbon monoxide and nitrogen dioxide.
Right.
So I have to then get the fans and the monitoring system installed. So these are things that have been laid out and, said that you have to address these. I think the town is on board with that. Like I said, I'm 2/3 of the way through the approval to get all these things funded and then start working on it.
And your objective is to get them done in the coming year? It sounds like a lot of work.
And there's another item with a tip for where I've got to do some rework too that might has to be done. My intent is to get them done as quick as possible, as supply chains allow, and the ability to go through a onerous process of bids and approvals.
John, could you update us at meetings in terms of how that process is going? Because I've been here a long time, I've never had that in the past, so that would be nice for us to know.
Sure. Yeah, and is that facility plan online? I mean, that's covered, right?
I would think so.
Yeah.
And I can forward a copy to you.
I'd love to read that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I think they've addressed a lot of the immediate concerns, but, it's a continuing effort to bring this transfer station. It's a 40-year plus transfer station.
Yeah.
The town has owned it for about 12 years. Previously, it was owned by CRRA.
When was the last time that they actually closed it in terms of those doors? I thought that happened all the time, because that's also a liability issue.
Well, that was my concern, which is why.
So when was the last time they actually worked?
Before me.
Before
Never looked at? They never looked at that? You never?
Late night.
Late
I
mean, somebody could get in there.
driving.
It's unbelievable.
I've been here my whole life, and I've never seen those doors.
Look, I've seen them, but I said, I thought I've never been there at night, like that.
Down.
Wow.
In my 30 years of being on the garbage truck out here.
Somewhere?
some work a lot longer than others, but the two main.
See,
doors-
that should have been told to the commission numbers years ago. That was never, that's the
So
point.
this,
Yeah.
this is what my,
Yeah.
I'm looking at as my marching orders to get this thing
Okay,
up
good,
and running.
good. What was the point?
Nigel obviously wants to, these things, these capital items addressed,
Right.
and it makes his life easier to address the operational ones.
Well, I think that should be approved. Let us know how that, I'd
So,
like to know.
sorry, so these are immediate need items. Is this assessment, I guess we'll get a chance to look at it, does it forecast out, because it's a capital, it sounds like it's a capital needs assessment, and oh, by the way, once you get through these things, in 5 years or 10 years, this is gonna have to be replaced, this is gonna fall apart?
I think I'm addressing most of this stuff right away, then it's maintenance.
Okay, so these are all the capital items, and then it moves to a maintenance plan. There's no other capital items that would fall apart in the future that require funding or planning or
These things, when you bond something, it's supposed to be, it's going in a 15-year bond.
15
years.
Hey, John?
Yes,
John, I got two questions. Does this stuff fall, do these items fall onto the department's waterfall schedule? Or are they gonna be standalone for solid waste and recycling?
yeah, I did a separate standalone 14-point report or whatever they asked for that their standard process. This is a separate bond to address the transfer station.
Okay.
15 years.
So that we could get updates and status on it and actually, go to bat for it if we're in favor, if the commission's in favor of it, go to bat and help move it along.
It's 2/3 of the way through. I got a meeting next week
with RTM?
with the RTM subcommittee, and then the following week after that, it gets approved, so.
Okay,
I would-
good,
like I
okay.
say, it went through the finance, it went through the board of selectmen. I'll be surprised if the RTM does not want to do these items and fund them.
Okay, good.
They may, they may not, but I would think it's in the best interest of the town.
Bring up the liability stuff.
To fund these items, to reduce the liability,
Yep.
to improve the safety, environmental, and structural issues that are.
Well, if it's past the first two,
It'll go.
it'll go, yeah.
All right.
Are you gonna?
You?
type in,
Where are we now, guys, where are we now? Assistant Director?
The assistant, we didn't just,
How's it, did you guys go over the status of the roof repair and the status of the compactor repair?
no, that's what I was.
Okay.
Okay, so the roof repair has been complete. As I stated, it finished up last week. A week ago, Monday, they finished cleaning up. It was the Friday before that.
Okay.
Looks good.
Cost was, it went out to bid, and the cost of it was $121,000.
121?
121.
And that was a big cost.
Yes, it went out to bid.
There were no overcosts, there were no overruns.
I am saying no at this time.
I mean, we don't took a lot more time, but dollar-wise, it cost a ton more.
Was the same as the compactor?
Your other item being the compactor.
Yep.
I finally made it clear to Reaction that this is a warranty issue that they need to address, of which they finally saw the light and agreed.
Okay.
So, the south compactor, all that work that they just put into it, they replaced the pump, they replaced some pressure regulators, electrical power thing. They picked that up as a warranty issue.
Good. So they should.
Did we learn anything in this whole process with respect to keeping spare parts and/or maintenance and/or updating of the computers or keeping the computer system protected? Did we find anything that we should be doing? Because we can't depend on them up in Canada to get somebody from Florida to figure out that they can't get to New York.
Their technician is out of Boston that they send down.
Okay.
Out of where?
Boston.
That's
Yeah,
what
but I
they,
thought I heard he's down to Florida for the past couple of months or something. No?
the individual that's been showing up has been from a company out of Boston. It's a distributor for them.
Yeah. And they're hiring him. He doesn't actually work for Reaction. They retain him, right?
Correct. He's a distributor, so they turn around and hire him. He has, his company, and they hire, he's a distributor for them, but he's not on their payroll.
John, in your experience, does it make sense to have our maintenance people get familiar with this equipment so that we can, after the warranty period, so that we can handle it? The other system that we had, everybody knows, was for 40 years, but even those had issues. But the hydraulic issues, I mean, there's all kinds of hydraulic companies that can handle stuff. Does it make sense for maybe our public works maintenance people to get involved, or maybe go to a training class, or to get friendly with this system so that we don't have these kind of issues?
Well, I will say, with the issues that have been occurring, Lisa, who's our lead person in the scale house, has been dogging them pretty well and has learned quite a bit.
For what?
Has been learning quite a bit about it from just when the technicians come down.
Oh, good. Okay.
And talking with them, communicating with them. We also have our electricians who have gotten into it for certain repairs also. Now, this item that occurred was under warranty. It's a 3-year warranty we have. That'll expire sometime in 2023, in the end of 2023.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, but if you go outside their own technicians, would that absolve the warranty? Would that affect the warranty?
Well, that's why.
Well, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't do that before the warranty's over.
Yeah, but you're saying that, Hugh.
No, we wouldn't do it before the warranty's over. I'm talking about thinking future.
Right.
Okay.
For now, because it's under warranty.
Right.
Yeah, we have more stuff with that.
Nigel has offered to help bring in his compactor people.
Okay.
If needed, which I've held them at bay on certain times because these are warranty issues,
Right.
and I want to make sure they're being addressed through the warranty.
Right.
Now, not
Cool.
everything that goes wrong with that is under warranty.
Right.
You have certain limit switches and cords and things like that are not warranty. They specifically tell you. So that's where, when you say, have we learned anything, we had an issue this morning when Lisa came in where it wasn't returning on the stroke, or it wasn't working properly. Their technician had shown Lisa some of the where some of the limit switches are to check. She went in, checked it out, and one was stuck a little bit, so they freed it up, and the thing worked fine the rest of the day. So yes, we are learning. Lisa's learning a lot. She's on top of things. And
Okay, no, that's good. That's good. I'm not sure that I want to make Lisa the general mechanic, but
I'm not saying she's a general mechanic either, but she's.
I'm only kidding.
Our person.
Well, frankly, she's sort of the superintendent of the transfer station.
Correct.
And yeah, the one thing I was gonna say, this piece of equipment, is basically a 15, 20-year piece of equipment, and like it or not, we're stuck with it now, and I think the best thing that, if they were a smart company, they'd make sure that they do everything they can to get this thing running right, so they have a reference here, but I think with Lisa and everyone learning about it, having the right spare parts, like extra limit switches, you had an extra motor and all that, I think that's the way you're gonna have to live with that, because you're not gonna say, well, this thing isn't any good, let's get a new one, because now we're, whatever that
Right.
costs, it's not gonna happen.
No, that's exactly what I was thinking of, is to identify the types of parts, spare parts that are prone to break down, like gates or switches or valves or whatever, and see what the economic feasibility is to have an extra one of those around, so you don't have to waste 8 hours or 10 hours or a couple of days trying to get them. Okay. Any other questions? Any other comments by the commissioners on that item?
Nope.
Okay, moving on. We haven't done anything with the solid waste and recycling plan. I did pick up a copy of what was offered as a plan back in 1999, and then I saw one around 2018. I'm sorry?
You missed it, okay.
What's that?
No, go ahead, sorry, go. 99.
I saw one from like 2019. I haven't sunk my teeth into them yet, so I really need to take a look at them. But most towns are not, John, as you probably can add to this, but most towns are not even complying with the state mandate to submit an annual plan. What they're doing is just submitting the annual tonnage, which is totally different than what the old DEEP, not the current one, but the predecessor anticipated. So that's an open item.
While you were off, I just should say, we did talk about the plan and weren't
I'm
sure.
sorry. Go ahead. I beg your pardon.
Well, John said that there had been a facilities plan that is resulting in some improvements right now, electric lighting and the roof, et cetera. And there's other parts of that. So we're not sure what the plan that you saw in '99 actually is, but
well, what he
we
was
did talk
referring to, though, said it's the DEEP annual plan, so we're required to submit an annual plan every year.
Yeah.
So that's totally different from what we were talking about.
Right.
That's just a compliance,
Yeah, it's just it's a compliance plan. How are you going to comply with the law?
John referred to that before.
Yeah, and he's got that.
Yeah.
Okay.
On top, okay. All right, Hugh.
Okay. At your guys' permission, I'm going to postpone or send the next report of the subcommittee presentation, unless Tim, unless you have a copy for everybody and you want to give it to the commissioners.
We really did. We have not.
What's that?
Lisa and Misty and I talked a little bit about the website, but we didn't really. I don't think we've had a meeting since the last meeting, so really we don't have anything to report at this point. But I think we do want to talk to. We do think there could be some improvements to the website in terms of graphics, but we would need to first find out who in the towns Misty has the contact, so we're going to work on that for the next meeting.
Okay. So we'll continue that to the next meeting. Any other comments?
No,
Any commissioners?
but you've got, no, but.
I do have, the stickers are in.
Hold on, who's talking?
John.
Is that Pat, John? Okay, go ahead, John, I'm sorry.
Is that the same?
Well, I'll take a
Yeah,
sticker.
you're all set. So we got them in, now it's gonna be the effort to get them.
You have another one?
Yeah, we have more.
Next phase
Are
is
you-
get them out there.
You're going to distribute them to the haulers?
John, can I have
Are they
one
going
more?
to pick them up? Are they going to pick them up at the waste
I
scale?
need to, next thing is probably have a meeting with the haulers
Same thing.
to address,
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
Flyer.
Good idea.
Actually, John left
What's
a
that?
couple of boxes. He wants the commission to go around and stick them on the.
That's right.
That's a joke. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, I'm gonna wind up having these set up a meeting with the haulers at some point.
Great.
And,
Okay.
probably just address a lot of the issues. I haven't had
John,
any.
if you want to hear with that, give me a call and I could.
I haven't had a formal meeting with them, and I'm sure they want to vent their concerns, and I need to express my concerns, and we'll see if we
Okay.
can get together to get some of these things out.
Cool.
A little smaller.
And then.
Okay, if there's no other business
I don't
to
know if you're gonna
transact.
deal with the food, okay.
That's it. Go ahead.
Sounds good.
Wait, a question. Question for John. One of the things that we were wondering about is, we're in the middle of this pilot study with the glass.
Oh, to report on glass, yes, we've had our second, drop, or second pickup of glass only. So the last pickup, I think it was about five and change, so.
That's the second bid, the second, dumpster?
Second time they picked it up. So this is a pilot that actually Oak Ridge is doing. They're taking it up to this one they took up to Beacon Falls themselves. They did not charge the town.
How many tons was it?
It was, hold on one second, I have this thing right here somewhere. Okay, you should probably tell me here, too. Hold on, I have this stuff out. Pretty sure it's like about five tons. So we had about 4 tons on the first one, we had about 5 tons on this one. For a total about 9 tons sold to date. And again, like I said, this is a pilot program that Oak Ridge is doing for us, and they are not charging us. Here we go.
John, if we had
The last pickup was on April 28th at 5.6275 tons.
Wow.
The first pickup was on March 7th, and that was 4.095 tons, for a total of 9.72 tons.
So what's the carting cost though? They're not charging us?
They're not charging.
John, if we had to pay the tonnage, if we had to pay the shipping of the transportation up there, what would that cost?
$10 a gallon.
Yeah,
Quite a lot, yeah.
yeah, right now.
I'm serious. How much is it, what would the cost be, disposal cost?
Well, let's put it this way, when the most of this glass that's going to Oak Ridge, gets turned around and 22% of it is, what we send up there is glass.
It's useless.
And then it's useless, and it gets sent back down to the incinerator, and Wheelbury gets burned. And what it contaminates. So.
Wait a minute, even this glass here is being sent, 22% is being sent back down?
You saying something, what, Hugh? What? Repeat that, please.
Even this glass here, 22% of it is coming back to Wheelabrator?
No, this glass is going straight to Beacon Falls as a designated glass-only run.
Yep.
And is used by urban mining as a additive for concrete cement.
Right. So how much would that cost us if we paid the transportation after this pilot program is over?
To urban mining, I don't have that cost.
Did you get any feedback from that, the trip to urban mining as to what quality the glass was in terms of was it a fairly low contaminant?
I think it's been pretty good because we've been.
I mean, looking in, it looks pretty good.
We actually go through and pick things out of it to keep it clean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Between Lisa and one of my guys that are down there, they'll go through and if they see somebody threw the wrong stuff in there, they'll pluck it out if they can reach it.
They actually have a way, by using a laser, where they separate the colors, the different colors of glass, so it's a really amazing process.
I don't think that matters for them.
No,
urban mining doesn't worry about it.
Having been urban mining, they just grind everything up.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, yeah.
But they do get
almost back to sand.
Michael.
And I know it may be a stupid question, but it's for me. Tell me again then why we're doing this.
The problem with glass, and why.
What are we gonna get out of it? I don't know what contaminant, I understand the process and everything.
What are we getting out of it?
Why are we doing this?
It's reducing what we have to send out, so right now, we're not paying anything.
Okay.
So we're not paying a tip fee, we're not paying a hauling fee or anything. It's an advantage to Oak Ridge, which is the processing center, because the glass cuts up their belts, creates a lot more maintenance issues for them. It gets impregnated into cardboard and contamination of paper and cardboard, so you're losing product, which therefore they then, when they get this glass at Oak Ridge, a lot of it then, so we pay to send it up there to Oak Ridge, we pay a tip fee, we pay a trucking fee, and then they turn around and then send it back down to Wheelbrader as a contaminated item.
So eventually though, Oak Ridge is gonna charge us.
Right.
After the pilot program, there may be a charge for hauling it up there. And urban mining, where it's going, may have a charge to put it there.
They have a tip fee depending on how contaminated it is.
Okay, so again, then I mean, eventually, what are we gonna get out of it?
It'll be still cheaper than going through the normal.
Yeah, it's subject to contamination.
Okay, can I ask two questions? During this pilot program, who's paying the freight? I mean, it's not doing it for nothing. And number two is, how long is the pilot program scheduled to last?
They are doing it for nothing. For us.
They are?
Yes, as I
No,
said.
but I mean, somebody's paying. I mean, the trucks have to be paid, and somebody's paying the mileage, somebody's paying the
Oak
diesel.
Ridge is assuming that cost.
Do they have are they part owner of
Urban mining, no.
No,
Yeah,
they
everybody.
may be getting a grant too.
Yeah, they may.
The benefit is it reduces the wear and tear on their equipment.
So they might be willing to continue to do it at a lower
Okay.
rate.
And it reduces the amount of contamination to their product, which reduces
Okay.
their overhead.
But
Do
it's.
we know how long the pilot?
They,
we know how long the pilot is lasting?
Maybe something from it.
Yeah.
Selling it.
It's just like Wheelbrader. You charge people to bring it in, and you sell a product going
Sell
out.
it, right.
That's the way to put it, work a
So
business.
nobody loses, it's.
So they will
Everybody
charge
gets it.
us, but
Right.
obviously they can't charge us more
Right, sure.
than what it would be just to go to Oak Ridge and
Sure,
recycle.
everybody wins, it's a good deal.
So, not to beat a
Right.
dead horse, just, we've discussed this before, but if we're moving forward on this pilot project, because really we're trying to get the community, we're doing education outreach, writing letters to newspapers and getting people on board with this, but without some kind of cost structure to the town, I mean, I think there's a way to just sort of project out and say, this, it's the right thing to do to get the glass out, but what are the actual costs going to be after the pilot? Don't you think that's a reasonable?
I don't think
Costing us more.
I don't think anyone knows.
No,
at
I
this
don't,
point.
I think.
Nobody knows,
knows.
and the bottom line is, it's a market-driven issue.
Right.
If it's cheaper just to send it to, right now, we wouldn't even be recycling glass, except for the fact that DEEP says it's required to recycle.
Right.
There have been people up in Hartford testifying, saying that, take the glass out of the mandatory recycle things, and there's too many negative effects. DEEP's feeling is, no, it's recyclable item, and we want to maintain it. So, we got it there, therefore recycle it.
Okay, so you're comfortable with this arrangement, good.
Sure, I'll ride this pony as long as I let it go.
Well, through the town is fine.
Okay, lady.
All right, go ahead.
But I mean.
Okay, if we don't have any more questions, I'll entertain a motion to.
Wait, we have another question.
It's not a question, it's more of a comment. I believe, based
Go
on
ahead.
what sorry, it's just that they're permitted to do like 100,000 tons of this stuff, and we're basically supplying them with a raw material for free. So my suspicion is that depending on how their market demand is and how much glass they're getting, they're gonna work with people to continue to receive this, raw material.
Concrete can use up to 45% of pozzolan, which is the ground glass, and
Right.
it actually makes the concrete better.
Like cinder blocks used to make.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's safer because what goes into concrete is a lot of.
They don't need paper
combustion
anymore.
byproducts.
They're gonna shut down the concrete.
Something
I
else.
hear it, so make a motion.
Yes.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Also move.
Second. Hugh, we adjourned.